Hello everyone and welcome back to Circus and Circuit podcast. I'm Kate Foronda and today we are diving into the trade routes that built civilizations, fueled empires and continue to impact our world today. How did a camel caravan in the Middle East lead to the creation of billion-dollar corporations? Why was nutmeg once worth more than gold? And why is the Panama Canal at the center of international political tensions today? Buckle up, because we are about to take a journey through history and into the future of global trade. Our journey begins with the legendary Silk Road, a vast network of trade routes that connected the East and West for centuries. Imagine merchants traveling for months, braving deserts and mountains, just to bring exotic goods from one part of the world to another. The Silk Road emerged about the 2nd century BC during China's Han Dynasty. It wasn't just one road, but a huge network stretching over 4,000 miles connecting China, India, Persia, the Middle East, and Europe. What goods were traded then? From China, for example, silk, porcelain, tea, and paper. From India, spices, textile, and precious stones. From Middle East, glassware, perfumes, and metals. From Europe, horses, wool, and wine. And it went beyond just goods that traveled. Ideas, religions, and technology spread. As an example, Buddhism reached China from India via this route. Even diseases traveled. The Silk Road played a role in spread of Black Plague into Europe. But not everything lasts forever. The rise of maritime trade in the 15th century reduced the importance of the Silk Road. Today, China is reviving it through the Belt and Road Initiative, which we will discuss later. Next, let's talk about spices. Yes, the kind you sprinkle on your food. At one point in history, nutmeg was worth more than gold. In medieval Europe, spices like nutmeg, cloves, and black pepper were valuable for preserving food, medicine, and a symbol of status. The Portuguese, Dutch, and British sought to dominate the spice trade. The Dutch East India Company, the world's first multinational corporation, established a brutal monopoly on nutmeg production. And a crazy fact is, the Dutch literally traded Manhattan for a tiny Indonesian island full of nutmeg trees. It's unbelievable, right? And here is some history. In 1667, during the negotiations of the Treaty of Breda, the Dutch and the English reached an agreement that had significant territorial implications. As part of the treaty's terms, the Dutch ceded their claim to the island of Manhattan, then known as New Amsterdam, to the English. In return, the English relinquished their claim to the small Indonesian island of Ran, located in the Banda Islands. At the time, Ran was highly valued for its abundant nutmeg trees, making it a prized asset in the attractive spice trade. But this exchange is often highlighted as a remarkable historical anecdote, illustrating the shifting values and strategic priorities of colonial powers in the 17th century. And while Manhattan developed into one of the world's most influential cities, the island of Ran, once prized for its nutmeg, faded into the history. The spice trade financed European exploration and colonization and shaped global trade as we know it today. Moving forward in time, we arrive at the Atlantic trade, one of the most complex and impactful trade systems in history. The system connected Europe, Africa, and the Americas in a triangle of commerce. What was traded? From Europe to Africa, manufactured goods, alcohol, firearms. From Africa to Americas, enslaved people, unfortunately. From the Americas to Europe, sugar, tobacco, cotton, and rum. The trade fueled the Industrial Revolution, but also left deep scars, economic and social inequalities that persist today as well. Trade routes have evolved, but their importance remains. Two of the most crucial today are the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal. Let's talk a bit about Suez Canal. It was opened in 1869, connecting the Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea, and as of today, it handles 12% of global trade, and it's a lot. Remember 2021 ever-given crisis. In March 2021, the Suez Canal faced a significant disruption when the Ever Given, a massive container ship measured 400 meters in length and weighing approximately 224,000 tons, set aground. This incident occurred on March 23rd, when the vessel became large diagonally across the canal, blocking all maritime traffic. The blockage had substantial implications on global trade, as the Suez Canal is a critical artery connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, facilitating a significant portion of the world's shipping traffic. The obstruction halted traffic in both directions, leading to a backlog over 400 ships waiting to transit the canal. This standstill affected approximately 12% of global trade, delaying shipments of goods. The blockage was estimated to hold up about 9.6 billion worth of goods each day, underscoring the canal's pivotal role in international commerce. After 6 days of intensive efforts, the Ever Given was successfully refloated. The Ever Given incident highlighted the vulnerabilities in global supply chain and underscored the critical importance of the Suez Canal in international trade. It also prompted discussions on the need for infrastructural improvements and contingency planning to mitigate the impact of similar events in future. And by the way, my own business was affected by this incident. We had a contract for shipping of 1,000 metric tons of iron ore from Africa. And even so, the Ever Given was refloated within 6 days. In reality, it took about 2 months to get back to the normal shipping schedule. So you can imagine how harmful that was. Moving forward to Panama Canal now. Panama Canal was built by the USA in 1914, linking the Atlantic and Pacific. It saves ships from sailing around South America. As of early 2025, the Panama Canal facilitates approximately 5 to 6% of global maritime trade. This underscores its critical role in international shipping, providing a vital shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. And what are recent news? Recent geopolitical tensions have highlighted that canal's strategic importance. For instance, President Donald Trump has expressed concerns over perceived Chinese influence in the region. Panama's president, Joe Raul Molina, responded strongly, stating that Panama will never give up its sovereignty. The questions are, will USA regain influence in Panama? Will we see new trade alliances emerge? We will see, right? But these developments show the canal's significance not only in global trade, but also in international diplomacy. And now let's talk about China's Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, as I promised in the beginning of the episode. It's very important and I would like to return to it. BRI is reshaping global trade, but it also sparkling debt concerns in developing nations. Many developing countries have accumulated substantial debt due to BRI project. For instance, China overall involvement in BRI countries is estimated at 1 trillion, Amidst the current global shutdown, the debts of many lower and lower middle income countries are reaching unsustainable levels. In sub-Saharan Africa, public debt has on average risen from 50% of GDP by 2019 and external debt to 35%. The COVID-19 crisis added about 5 percentage points of GDP to public debt and 2 points to external debt. As of 2023, the Belt and Road Initiative, launched by China in 2013, includes participation from numerous countries across various regions. According to the Green Finance and Development Center, 154 countries have signed agreements to collaborate on BRI project. Notably, 17 members of European Union and 8 countries from G20 are part of BRI. And here are some recent changes. Italy joined BRI in March 2019 but withdrew in December 2023. And Panama, we recently discussed Panama. Panama became a member in June 2017 and just exited, literally in February 2025. And why? The reason, it's obvious. It was a tension between the US and Panama, I mentioned before, and the US expressed concerns over China involvement in critical infrastructure near Panama Canal and viewed it as a potential threat to regional security and US strategic interest. So Panama is not belong to Belt and Road Initiative any longer. As we look ahead, what will shape the future of trade? What? And I'd like to point out 2 parts here: sustainability and green trade and digital trade routes. As for third part, sustainability and green trade, 2 major trends which are significant. Number 1 is the shipping industry is under pressure to reduce carbon emission. And number 2, companies are investing in hydrogen-fueled ships and electric cargo vessels. And it's awesome. We will have clean energy, clean water, clean air. But of course, there's some pros and cons as well. Second part, and this is the future, digital trade routes. Trade is not longer about moving goods. It's about moving data. The real power in today's economy isn't just in oil, ships, or containers. It's in digital trade routes, driven by AI, blockchain, and predictive analysis. Blockchain is transforming global commerce by eliminating fraud, automating transaction, and cutting down delays. No more mountains of paperwork, no middlemen that's slowing the things down. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing logistics by predicting supply chain disruptions before they happened, automating warehouses, and even managing self-driving cargo ships and drone deliveries. This means faster trade, lower cost, and fewer inefficiencies. Major companies like IBM, Maersk, and Amazon are already using AI and blockchain to streamline global trade, making it smarter, faster, and more secure. This is the biggest game changer. Biggest. Data has now value more than oil. It's commodity. Companies like Google, Amazon, Alibaba don't just sell products. They control entire markets by trading in consumers' behavior, purchasing patterns, and predictive analytics. Governments are now fighting over who controls data, just like they fought over oil reserves in the past. The US and China are locked in technological trade war over AI, semiconductors, and 5G because whoever controls data controls the future of trade. As we step into this new digital era, businesses must adapt because the global economy is shifting from physical trade routes to digital highways, where information, automation, AI-driven decisions determine the future of commerce. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Circus and Circuit. We have traveled from unchained caravans to AI-driven trade. And it's fascinating how history repeats itself in global commerce. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And I would like to ask, what's the most surprising trade fact you learned today? Let's continue this conversation on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Just find me at those platforms. And until next time, keep trading wisely and navigating the world with curiosity. Better is coming.